Hi, here we are. Today I'm trying something different. Yes. Um, I'm trying to see if I can start training the pitty without getting one of those prawn collars. I think I'm going to take her down to the doggy park first to see how she, behaves with other dogs. And if she doesn't mind me at all and just goes butt wild, then I think I might invest in, a prawn collar to train her. So let's see. But anyway, here we are. This time we don't have Snoopy with us. Snoopy is, holding down the fort. Okay. Gracie was a little bit afraid, to get into the car. She's like, well, where's Snoopy? Why is it just us? Well, that's how it is right now. Because if things keep going the way that it's going, there is definitely a chance that she needs to be socialized to the point where, she might be able to be adopted by some new owners. Okay, hold on. Okay, so one of the biggest differences about Gracie is she's never been alone. She's never been completely by herself, right? Before I got her, she was with, her mommy and her siblings, or who knows, maybe even her pappy. Okay? But once she got into my hands, right? She was like my little baby, right? Because she was so small and so pretty and so sweet that, Snoopy just had to wait until I was ready to release her to Snoopy, because Snoopy was like, I thought this was going to be our baby. I'm like, yeah, it is our baby. Here you go. Okay. But now that Gracie is becoming a year old, okay, she doesn't quite understand right from wrong, even though she has an inkling. She kind of knows. We let her know what's right and what's wrong, but she don't really trust us to tell her the truth, which I find to be really weird. So, like, look, me and Snoopy, we two old spirits out here. Why would we lie to you, baby doggy? Why? Well, we wouldn't. We wouldn't lie to you, because we know our time is short. And of course, people who have short times to live, most of the time, are trying to make their spiritual resume look good, not bad. So I'm surprised, she, hasn't gotten so afraid that she's jumping all in the front, that she's right there. See her? She right there, sitting in the back like a good doggy. Good doggy. Yeah. Yes. Good doggy. And this whole excursion was advised by my daughter, who was like, look, you need to start, exercising her, because she's restless. And I'm like, yeah, but Snoopy, she can't handle a walk like that. Snoopy, she'll be lucky if she can walk around the block. And even walking around the block is in slow-mo. Okay? I've shown you pictures. I've shown you videos. Okay? So, you know, hopefully I can keep up with her, right? And like I said, if I can't keep up with her, we're definitely going to buy some of the prawn choker collars for her so that she doesn't, you know, drag me. She probably can't drag me, but she can catch me off balance. Yeah, she can catch me off balance. Because I'll be thinking, oh, we're doing so good, and she's such a good doggy, and, you know, and I won't be on guard, and, you know, next thing you know, the slightest little tilt will get me off balance, and boom! I got a broken hip, or a broken arm, or a sprained, or a fractured bone somewhere in my body, or, you know, yeah, no, we're not doing that, okay, we're not. So, in my mind, you know, I should have been able to train her at 6 months, in my mind, right? Had she been a German Shepherd, even a Doberman Pinscher, they will, you know, accept training, you know, fairly early. You know, and of course, the other dogs, they are definitely more domesticated, period. You know, like a Labrador or a Doodle. You know, they're just plain more domesticated, okay? They're more domesticated than my PD, all right? My PD, they can be domesticated. That's the whole point that we're trying to prove, is that the PDs can be domesticated, right? That it just depends on the owner, you know, and they need lots of love. They do, especially if, you know, they're a water sign PD. Oh my God, ooh. I don't know, but, you know, my water placements are in Scorpio. So, well, Scorpio and Pisces. So, not Cancer. You know, I don't know. You know, you can kind of say Cancer because I have so much, you know, so many fourth house situations that even though I'm not, you know, don't have like outer, you know, placements, you know, I do have some inner house placements of Cancer. So it's a hard situation to understand. If you don't know astrology, then you don't know. Okay. Damn. Another Polo restaurant getting ready to open where Taco Cabana used to be. And I'm going to tell you, the majority of the food that I do eat, they are on some kind of flatbread or tortilla or pita. Look at you. Look at you. You're so cute. You're so cute. Yes, you are. Oh my God. So, yeah, I'm taking her down here to the doggy park first. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to walk through the doggy park and then walk a little bit around the lake and then back through the doggy park and then back to the house. And if that goes well, then I'm like, well, I don't need to spend $25 on a necklace, you know, to discipline her, right? I could probably get away with just buying the clicker, you know, yeah, a clicker, or I could just use my mouth. All right. So I've already drank my 60 grams of protein. I'm slow at moving today because my body's sore, right? And you know we've been working out 3 days at the senior citizen gym, okay? But yes, you know, the aftermath is real, right? And you know, of course we want to say, you know, no pain, no gain, or the pain is worth it, you know, whatever. Okay, let's try to find a way where, you know, people, and you know what? I think that's why pain pills are such a high commodity, because people love to push themselves to the max, right? And even when you push yourself to the max, right, there's the aftermath. What's the aftermath? Sore muscles, achy pains here and there. Yeah, that's what it is. And how long does it last? Ooh, could be a couple of hours to a few days. And you don't want to wait until the pain, you know, goes away before, you know, you start, you know, working back out, because 72 hours is all your muscles need to atrophy. Atrophy? Yes. 72 hours. What is 72 hours? 3 days? Oh. Yeah, I know. Because, believe me, during the pandemic, you know, my body atrophied because I thought there was a way that I could just melt away into oblivion. Right? And yet, I wasn't allowed to do it. I wasn't allowed to do it. And because I tried to do it, you know, moving around became very painful, because, you know, the muscles were damn near liquefied. Yes, the muscles were damn near liquefied. So it was a very slow and painful process of physical therapy that I implemented, you know, to get back into the stouty self that I am. I hope you felt that power, because there is power behind it, right? It isn't just show. It isn't just show. All right? My problem is that the more I work out, the more I eat, right? So I've been trying to figure out, you know, well, what do I need to do to work out and recover so that I don't feel pain, and then I don't feel like, you know, I have to replenish my energy by overeating? Because realistically, when you're working out, you're really not burning as many calories as you think, right? So I could say that, you know, if you work out an hour, you know, or two, you know, depending on your exercise, you know, you might be burning anywhere from 150 calories to maybe 3. Just depending on if you're doing some running or some, you know, high energy exercise. Oh my gosh. It's starting to rain? Yes, it's starting to rain. So today was little cooler as far as the temperature is concerned. It is almost 1 o'clock, and my temperature gauge says it's 81, so that's definitely a lot cooler than it's been the last couple of days. Last night was as if, you know, they turned the microwaves on to high all night, you know. So it had to be in the high 90s. Last night. It did not start to get cooler till about it was like about 5 o'clock this morning when it got cooler, and that's when I was finally able to get some restful sleep when it got a little bit cooler. Had me thinking that I need to go someplace cool. And I'm like, well, gee, the only place cool I know about is Washington State, Seattle. That's the only cool place that I think I might want to go. Even though, let me clear my throat. I don't know much about Colorado. I don't know much about Kentucky. And I don't know much about, you know, a lot of the Midwestern states, you know, because the Midwestern states that I've kind of dealt with or gone through have been across I think it was 20 and 30, and yeah, right. So now I was watching this one lady who left Texas. She's an African lady, but she left Texas and went to Chicago, and she was saying how she enjoyed Chicago so much more, you know. And I was trying to, you know, figure out, you know, is it because Chicago's more gangster? Is it because Chicago, and, you know, she did kind of relay the fact that, you know, Chicago was like living in a miniature New York style. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, because they do have, you know, buildings and river walks and, you know, and people just walking around all the time. So I don't have time to waste because it looks like it's trying to rain. It looks like it's trying to rain. Wow. That's interesting. So, let's go see how she does by herself with me and at the doggy park. Hold on.